the house that Dad built on Yale Street. When we was building that, there was Yale ended at our house. We were on the corner of and Yale ended. It didn't go across the street, and there was a pasture over there, and I don't remember. I don't recall seeing any cattle or even horses ever in that pasture, but that's what it was. It was a fence up and was a pasture. And we kids played in it and explored in it. One morning we had got up and we'd got ready for school, and it wasn't quite for us to go to school, so we was out there playing around in the front yard and in the street, and we had smelt a skunk. So we decided we just needed to find out where that skunk was at. Well, at that time I had a pellet pistol. It would pump up, and you could pump it up pretty powerful. It didn't shoot a BB, it shot a pellet, which is a little bit bigger than a BB. So I run the house and got that and loaded up, so we went skunk hunting. This was in the morning before school. We wandered around out there. The grass wasn't real high, and we finally found him. And I proceeded to shoot him. And I shot him probably 3 or 4 times before we just couldn't take it any longer. Every time I'd shoot him, he'd squirt the perfume, and like I said, I shot him 3 or 4 times, and it got so bad that we couldn't stand it any longer. So we went back to the house, and of course we stunk, and we went in and changed clothes and washed up and went on to school, and got to school, and the teacher sent us home. She wouldn't let us stay in the school, so we got to miss school that day. But it was I'm gonna say a couple of miles, a little over a couple of miles to school, and not much wore off between the time we left the house and got to school. But the teacher sent us home, wouldn't let us stay in the school. You hear people talk about having to walk 10 miles to school in the snow and the rain and stuff, but we only had to walk about 2 miles, a little over 2 miles, I guess. Dad had already, by the time we went to school, Dad had already went to work, so there was no car to take us to school. And a lot of times Mom had already gone to work too by the time we left and went to school. She'd get us up and we'd get ready, and her and Dad would leave, and Dad took her to work, and then he went on to work. They went to work about the same time, but Mom's work, she was working for Dickies, Williams and Dickies Clothing, and they made work clothes. And so it was kind of on the way, so Dad would drop her off at work, and then he would go on to work at Parker Brown. after we would, well, we built 2 rooms. The house was 2 rooms house, and it wasn't even finished on the inside. When we moved in, we moved from Rome and moved into these 2 rooms, and Dad finished the insides of them. Didn't even have no cabinets, kitchen cabinets, anything up. He built an outhouse back on the back of the lot. We didn't even have a bathroom. We had running water to the lot, but when we moved in, I'm not sure that there was a sink up or anything in the kitchen. And Dad built cabinets and everything while we was living in it. And we used the outhouse out in the back. He finished up those 2 rooms. While we were working on those 2 rooms, while he was putting roof on it, he fell off the roof. Didn't hurt him. He landed on his feet. Come on back up the ladder and finish the job. But we finished those 2 rooms, and then we started 2 more rooms built, so that was going to make us 4 rooms. And of course we pretty well moved into them before Dad got them finished, and we worked on them, and Donnie and I helped him. Mom helped him. We all worked on it. Melba was real small then, so she wasn't big enough to help a whole lot. We still use the outhouse even after we built the second 2 rooms. I don't believe that we put a bathroom in yet when there. Dad didn't put a bathroom in the house until we built on the second time. We built on 2 more rooms and a bathroom. The second addition was a kitchen, the bathroom, and what ended up being Donnie and I's bedroom. I think that was the first time that Mom had a kitchen of any size when we built that on, and it was pretty good size. Dad built her nice bunch of cabinets, and big enough to she could turn around 2 or 3 times in without bumping into something. And then that's when we did away with the old outhouse. Dad did all of the plumbing, just about it, nearly all of the electrical work. I think by the time we put the second addition on, then Dad could do the electrical and the plumbing, but he had to get a plumber to sign it off with the city. I think the first 4 rooms didn't have to do that, but by the time we did the last 2 rooms, we had to do that. Dad had to get somebody to sign off, the electrician and the plumber. I remember Dad, he was wanting where the electrical lines come in to the house from the pole. He was wanting to move that, and he got out there and moved it himself, and the electricity wasn't cut off at the pole. I mean, it was still live. to the house. And I was out there watching him, and I said, "Dad, what? Aren't you afraid of getting shocked?" And because I was really concerned. I mean, you know, we'd heard of people getting killed, getting into the power lines. And he said, "Son, if you only handle one wire at a time, it won't hurt you." And I guess that's right. I never did try it to find out, but he moved them one wire at a time, and didn't get shocked. So I never was brave enough to try it to find out, though. Gosh, we'd work on that thing, work on that house, and paint. I think we did nearly everything except the carpet. When didn't have carpet at first, just had linoleum down on the floor. I don't believe, well, I know that Mother and Dad didn't get carpet until after us kids was gone. In fact, we was all we moved off, and the lightning struck a power pole there, and a surge of electricity come in and set a radio setting on Mom and Dad's bed headboard, and caught it on fire and caused a fire in the bedroom. It didn't hurt much except just smoked everything up. And I think when they got the insurance settlement and everything on that, that's when they put carpet in the living room. If I'm not mistaken, and I'm not real sure when that happened. Not real sure where I was at, but I wasn't living at home. Dad was always trying to make some extra money. He was working, but gosh, nobody back then made very much. Dad wasn't doing real bad, but he just wanted better for his family, so he was always looking for something else to do other than his regular job. And I think the first thing that I remember him doing, of course he was always welding for people when he could on the side, but the first thing that he ever did trying to do a business type thing was he went down on the Brazos River, which was about probably 30-40 minute drive from where we lived, and rented some pasture and bought some goats, and he was going to raise some goats. Well, I don't recall a whole lot about that. I just remember that he had some pasture and he had some goats. I think I was still probably pretty small about that time. I don't know where he ever made any money on them or not, but I don't think that lasted long. I don't think that it worked out very good, us living up there and then the pasture being down there and nobody around to take care of them. You know, regularly, Dad'd go down every day or two, I guess, to check on them. But I don't think that worked out too good. And a little bit later, well, he decided to start raising some rabbits. And we built hutches and in the backyard, and gosh, we ended up with probably, I wouldn't be surprised what he didn't have, 40 or 50 does. So we got into the rabbit business pretty quick. And there was a big department store downtown Fort Worth called Leonard Brothers. And that's another story in itself, but Leonard Brothers meat department Daddy would sell them the young rabbits. He would dress them out and they would buy all of his young rabbits. And so he was making some money. And gosh, I'd get in and just about get my homework done, and Mom and Dad'd come in and we'd start dressing rabbits. When he had a bunch ready to go to the market, we'd dress rabbits till dark, and then we'd have to quit, of course, and then Mom would go in and she would clean them up and get them ready to take to the store, and Daddy would deliver them the next day.